Let's see.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Let's see if we got this thing. So the ash almost got you stuck in London.
Yeah, we in fact we came by train just to make sure, because we still couldn't get a confirmation on our plane. We booked the plane weeks ago,
Yeah.
but we still couldn't get a confirmation that they were going to fly yesterday, so we got a train.
Okay. Let's see, we got this. People need to see your head, but also your amazing body.
Well, you've got to, I mean...
Okay. So it's all about you at this moment. It's, my voice, we edited between.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
it's
I know.
just we got your voice on,
Yeah,
on the thing. That's the... Okay, sitting here with Tony Parsons. My first question, what is Tony Parsons like?
What is Tony Parsons like? Well, in a sense, like he always was, really. Quite enthusiastic and passionate about this subject. What can I say? There's no difference in that sense. The personality and the character is there. The sound of the voice and hasn't really changed from before all of this happened. So I would say pretty alive, cheerful, rude, irreverent, with a tremendous passion about freedom, which has always been there. It's a tremendous thing about freedom and freedom for people, in a sense. Although that, and yeah, that's it.
And any difference between Tony Parsons in childhood and Tony Parsons now? Or
I don't know. I think there is something that develops sort of from childhood. There's always been a sense of a childlikeness there, and then of course we all grow up. I grew up in the world and had to manage my life in the world, or so I thought I was managing. That's another subject. And then all of this came along, and I wrote The Open Secret, or The Open Secret was written, and then suddenly, about 2 years after that, the whole thing exploded into just doing talking. Before that I was a businessman, and I love business. I like business.
what kind of business?
I was a builder in England. I ran a building business in England.
Okay.
And then Claire and I ran a publishing business, and then The Open Secret started to snowball talking, so we had to give all of that up because we were too busy with this.
Yeah.
But I love talking to people. I quite like writing a bit, but not nowhere near as much as going and talking to people about.
Why is that? Is that
It's
the
more
the
alive.
energy?
Yeah, it's more something to do with being very alive, and the interconnection with people is the thing I most love. Also the laughter and the fun.
Yeah.
And also going deeply with people into this subject, which I'm totally passionate about, but in a particular way. I think some people think I'm a bit, I don't know quite how to put it. They think the way I communicate this is very singular and different to the way most people do. I have a particular passion about the nature of what people call non-dualism. As far as I'm concerned, most of the non-dualism that is supposed to be communicated is not non-dual.
No, what's it
It's
about?
still, for me, most communications that are supposed to be non-dual or actually are still offering something to a person. As far as I'm concerned, that is not what non-duality is about.
So you don't give people anything, except a good after. You don't give people anything.
There's nothing available at all for the person, because the whole essence of the message is that it doesn't recognise that there is such a thing as a separate person. So it doesn't communicate to a separate person or offer them any help or anything at all. It simply is. It's a twofold message, I would think. One is that it illuminates or exposes the whole structure and apparent dilemma of seeking in such a way as to show that the whole construct of the person or the apparently separate person is illusory or dreamlike and has no foundation. but except it's the thing that drives people on to seek. So it illuminates the futility of seeking. It doesn't make it wrong. It's not trying to make anything wrong. It doesn't say that, I mean, seeking and separation are just as much an expression of wholeness as anything else.
Yeah.
But the message illuminates the dilemma for the seeker. And then the other thing, as far as I'm concerned, that's most powerful is not spoken, is something that's energetic. Because as far as I'm concerned, separation is something that's embodied. Mm-hmm. When we become separate, we feel it in every part of us. And it disturbs and influences the whole of our experience and makes our experience of life very unsatisfactory. Is this okay? I'm me going on like this?
Yeah, of course. Go on. No, I'm just curious if it's... Yeah, it's recorded. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
go ahead.
And it influences the whole sense of being someone. All the time you're separate, you don't see a tree, you don't see a person, you don't see life as it really is. You see it through a film of separation. So energetically, there's a feeling of being held, contracted in the body. So for me, the other most powerful part of being together, being open about this, is energetic. And in some way or other, that contracted energy can lift into the boundlessness, which for me is so-called liberation.
But isn't this the same thing that happens with a great sports event? People come there to lose themselves. Yeah. A great concert, a dance party.
Yeah, it can happen.
Yeah.
It can happen in
It's a good party,
anything extreme or deep or joyful. Mm-hmm. It can happen making love. It can happen jumping out of an airplane, with or without a parachute.
Yeah.
It's like those extreme situations can create a situation where there's no sense of anyone. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. And it can also happen walking down the road, of course.
Yeah.
Buying shoes. Oh, of course.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
It has to be like that. There can't be any condition. Liberation doesn't happen through any circumstance at all.
Yeah, but you only think afterwards or before that event made you feel that way, or not? Or
no, I don't think it does. And for me, there are no circumstances that bring this about. It just comes out of nowhere because it is out of nowhere. Yeah. It's the one thing that we can't know, and it's the one thing that can't be induced by anything.
And can't be talked about.
No, it can't.
Yeah.
Well, you can talk around it. You can talk about what it isn't.
Yeah.
But you can't describe beingness because it's indescribable. Yeah. Absolutely indescribable.
So Tony, no one is the same. If you look around, yet everything is one.
Yeah. Absolutely, that's the wonderful paradox.
Yeah.
The joy is that everybody's totally different, or everything is totally different.
You never find one person.
No. It's absolutely
exactly
unique,
the same.
totally unique. Everyone and everything is a totally unique creation, and yet it is the absolute expression of wholeness. Nothing is apart.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah,
it's amazing.
Yeah,
it's miraculous.
So there is no such thing as my life.
No, except that we have to be clear about this. For the separate person, they feel very strongly that their separation and their longing and their frustration is very real for them. I'm not saying that for a moment. It's absolutely real. I know it because I was like that. So you can't go around saying to people, well, all there is wholeness, so separation is absolutely fine, because that's bollocks. It's just nonsense to say that.
Yeah.
Because for the separate person, there's a real feeling of being imprisoned.
Yeah. But it's also this, so
totally.
We don't have to reject that.
No, nobody's
people
rejecting
thinking they have a reputation and a career.
No. Not reject it, but see it for what it really is, illuminate it.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
And then you still play your part, because people always say, but when I go live like that, I don't get out of bed, I don't wash my hair, brush my teeth.
Nonsense. But some people say, well, what you're saying, Tony, is that there's nothing that can be done, so I'll do nothing.
Yeah.
But doing nothing is doing nothing. It's just bullshit. You can't escape. You can't escape.
No. So, Tony, people who think they carry a lot of pain inside, old pain. Any advice for?
No, I don't. I absolutely don't give any advice at all, because that would be a complete reversal of the nature of this message. The nature of this message is absolutely singular and radical and completely uncompromising. So it doesn't attempt to help the person in any way at all, because there's no recognition that there is a person, a separate person. So pain happens, you know, suffering happens, longing happens, all those things just are what happens. And all that can happen here is to illuminate the dilemma of trying to make that change, because the dilemma is that there's no such thing as free will and choice. There is only what happens. So directly you start to give somebody a choice, or suggest that in some way or other they can become liberated, or liberation will happen to them if they really listen to this message, then you're back in the wheel of A and B, subject-object. Yeah. So,
okay, no problem. Let's see if we're still rolling on camera. Yeah, well,